Hey, good morning, everybody. Robert Phoenix here, broadcasting to you live from Fredericksburg, Texas. What's happening out there? It's a Monday, 24th day of June, and we are here once again, rising, shining ourselves, communicating with one another in unison, if not in actual time, space, third dimensional location. Uh, we're doing it. We're doing it outside of time space. This is what I love about everything. I'm here, you're there, we're here together. What's going on? If you missed last night's live stream, boy, it was cracking. We had a good one. We had a good one going on last night. A lot of good energy in the chat room, and went down a number of rabbit holes and had a very interesting revelation about the chart of Tucker Carlson and how it relates to the chart of one Donald John Trump. Excuse me, I just have to rub my eyes a little bit. So I think we're getting ready to go live on the on the YouTube side. We've got Paulette and Justice and Judy and Matt. That's where it's at. Good morning, everybody, and hopefully the power here is going to stay on with my computer. I have it plugged into the power source, but it's a weak power source. So I'll try to burn through today's show as quickly as possible. Maybe we'll really get 15 minutes of true searing hot barbecue flame. How about that? Let me just check in what's going on the 15-minute side, see if there's any people there. Not quite. So like I said, if you didn't catch last night's show, I'd highly recommend it. It was a good show. And a lot of astrology and a lot of interesting chatter. And boy, the chat room was buzzing last night in a big way, really big way. So a couple of things that I wanted to kind of go over today is obviously we're in the aftermath of the call off the strike of Iran, but we are not out of the woods. These people are very serious, I think, now with their intent. For a while, I thought, well, are they really going to go after Iran, or it's just kind of more of a psyop? And it's feeling less like a psyop and more like something that could actually happen. You know, it's a strategy of tension, but I also think that we have to take into consideration that they may actually pull the trigger on this thing. This is not great. Or a war, limited conflict with Iran would draw in the Chinese and would draw in the Russians, and we'd be sitting at the toenails of World War III, essentially. And a lot of people would love it. Oh, is this great? Is this great? Oh, wow. Look at Trump. He's strong. He's a strong president. Fuck those Iranians. They're always over there messing around. It's like that's the mentality you find online with people. It's just ridiculous. It's like, who are the bots? Did people become bots because they're just absolutely reflexive sort of support for a war? I mean, have bots become that sophisticated that, I don't know, but it's disproportionate, very disproportionate. And it's really funny because I go on the message boards where I think that there are somewhat enlightened people, albeit cynical, and they apparently have not processed what happened with Iraq and the Gulf War and all the bullshit and the false evidence that led up to that erroneous decision to go in there. At least on my part, I believe it was erroneous. Perhaps other people's is the best thing that ever happened in their lives. But I think it's erroneous. It's the same machinations, it's the same people, the same players. It's the same vermin. It's the same mold, toxic mold that we have to scrape off our system if we want to be able to have some kind of a semblance of a life. Trump is being accused of being an isolationist. And I saw this guy, he was one of these think tank guys. These think tank guys, they're just pieces of work, man. They're the biggest whores on the planet. They're just whores. They just whore themselves out. They go to a think tank, they sit around, they write up papers, they meet with defense contractors, They meet with Congress. They're kind of like this weird hybrid of being a lobbyist, a think tank person, kind of this talking head. If CNN or MSNBC or Fox wants to call them off the bench, they come on. They have some kind of an impressive title, and then they state a position. And usually that position is a position that's being paid to be stated. That's just the way these things work. They're whores. They're marketing whores. There's no interesting think tank kinds of frisson about them. Real interesting think tanks were, hey, how are we going to make this place better? Can we have a technological revolution without fucking 5G? Pardon my language. That'd be a really interesting think tank. But no, we're not going to get those kinds of think tanks, because those kinds of think tanks require independent thoughts, creativity, and breaking away from the system when the system wants to just get its claws right into you right now. And that's why everybody's being deplatformed, because the system has said, okay, that's it, enough. We got all the intel that we need. We've got profiles on everybody that's got an opinion on anything. We got plenty of that now. We don't need any more of it. We've got all these complex relationships and networks and sub-networks. We've got straw men that basically are your virtual selves, and we can predict and maybe even program how you're going to react in any given situation, so that all your variables are kind of, there and accounted for. And now it's done. It's like, okay, we're done. We've got enough. We have enough. And besides, you're all getting a little uppity. You're all thinking that perhaps you might have a bit more power than you actually do. So we're going to pull some of that away. That's what's happening. And there's nobody, and I mean nobody really front and center in the so-called government or the media in a really significant way that's standing up for this. Standing up for being able to speak freely. Right? Why? Why would they? They finally have figured it out. They figured out a way to get around everything. They figured out a way to get around the First Amendment by creating the internet. They figured out a way to not have to declare war with Congress and create the Patriot Act. There are all these shortcuts and abrogations. If you're somebody in the position of power, and you had that kind of sociopathic kind of mindset, would you want anybody else to get close to your position of power? And we all have versions and variations on this, right? I mean, there's and some of it is some of it you have to have in life. Okay, it's like, look, I'll share with you an altruistic moment, or not so altruistic moment. Okay, quite a few years ago, I had a big astrology show. It was me and 3 other astrologers. And it was all about the Grand Cross. And I had tried to get somebody who was Capricorn and Aries, a Cancer, and myself, although I am not, chat with 3 people, although I'm not a Libra. I've got about as close to being a Libra as possible without being Libra, 29 Virgo. So I set this chat up. I set this this roundtable up. And I was a moderator, and I got just completely steamrolled on my own show by these other astrologers. Well, two out of the 4, not including myself. And they had one of them back again, just because I thought he was a cool guy. We could talk politics and astrology, which you can't always do with other astrologers. And he was like, trying to dominate the conversation. I'm like, why am I having another astrologer on my show who is making me look bad? Okay, that's just not going to happen again. It's not going. Number one, it undermined my authority, which we say, oh, is that your ego? No, it's not my ego. I'm open to people playing in the sandbox, as long as it's cooperative, right? I'm cool with that, right? A little give and take. That was not happening. And number 2, it was cutting into my business. And it's like, I've got to be selective. And I do, look, the way this thing works, I'll be honest with you. I've had people on my show, and they get clients, and I don't care, right? If you want to be with and hang out with somebody, and you think that person has something interesting to tell you or share with you, or has some insight that can be meaningful to your life, Go hang out with them, right? Go have that moment. It's okay. That's the way life is. And if you want to hang out with me or Jasper, you want to have that moment, that's cool too, right? That's what happens. So, that said, there's a fine line between having people that you can have on the program and you can, have a connection with, and somebody who's just kind of, basically run roughshod through your experience and then snatch all your clients. And I got really hip to that. I've got Neptune in my 11th house, sort of. It's at the edge of the 11th and the 12th. So I'm like, why do I want to do that? I would have other shows where, I'd have, again, an astrologer on with me, and his buddy would be in my chat room hustling readings. I was like, what are you guys doing? It's just so street, It's like you're, trying to get into my chat room, and it was just like weird stuff. But so it's a fine line between honoring our own self-interest, which we theoretically should, versus being a complete and utter megalomaniac and not letting anybody have a seat at the table, right? But what's happened now is that the power has become so stratified, they don't want anybody to have a seat at the table. I mean, forget it. If you were in power, would you really, 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 really want people to have free speech and all these powerful tools at their disposal? Because maybe, just maybe, that you might be out of a gig because they might find something or unearth something about you that might be scandalous. Why would you want that? You wouldn't, if you're in power, you wouldn't want that because you'd want to hold on to your position. And that's the fallacy. That's what most people don't understand. Is that most of these people don't give a rat's ass about us. Most of them, not all of them, some do. I've met people in the political game, met some people who, represent this area. They kind of do have some skin in the game. Yeah, do they want to get elected? Of course. It's a trade-off. It's a balance, right? Because we're self-serving and we serve others. And we have to have that balance. If we're imbalanced in any one of those areas, it gets really, really ugly. If we serve others too much, there's nothing for ourselves. We're just empty husks. And if we serve ourselves too much, we wind up just leaving burned carcasses, in our wake. I was watching this documentary last night about Funkadelic in Parliament, where George Clinton's got some heavy duty. He's got some heavy duty accounting, spiritual accounting, ahead of him, man. Boy, maybe I'll do a show. George Clinton is a cancer. Maybe I'll do a show on George Clinton in Parliament. Hopefully, I won't run afoul of the laws, of the copyright laws. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting week. The Warhawks and neocons, they do not want to lay down on Iran. They want to get in there. They want to get in there by the end of the year. By the end of the year. That's what John Bolton said. He says, we're going to be celebrating in the streets of Tehran by the end of the year. Who the fuck are these people? They'll probably sit down and say, you don't know. You don't know. You just don't know. You don't know. It's complicated. That's what he told Tucker Carlson. It's complicated. Of course, you got all these interests you have to serve, and it's just, it's like when you tell a lie, and all of a sudden you've got to have all these backup lies to support the lie that you've once told. And all of a sudden you've got a network of lies. It's just, that's what happens. And then that's why, in Bolton's mind, it's complicated. All right, let me check in with you people. Let's see what's going on in your worlds. Hey, there's Steve and Chris. Hello, Beverly. Beverly Carly. Hello, hello. What's going on? I like the Carly thing. Iran has Russia on its side thanks to the Dems. No one else even believes the Iran bullshit. It's true. I couldn't watch last night. Bad spooling. Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, Luann. Shari, she's back in. She couldn't watch. What else? Anybody else? Any other things going on there? I think that's about it. Okay, so you guys I was going to see what's going on in history today. There was a couple events that I thought were interesting. There was some. Let me find it. All right, so this was interesting. In 1374, This is where I play the time tunnel music, but I don't have it right now. 1374, an outbreak of St. John's dance causes people in the streets of Aachen, Germany, to experience hallucinations and begin to jump and twitch uncontrollably until they collapse from exhaustion. I think that was the rye mold that had gotten into the drinking water, and people were tripping. Would be great if that's what the elite started doing. That they started doing the St. John's dance. And they started experiencing hallucinations, beginning to jump and twitch uncontrollably until they collapsed. If they all did that simultaneously, wouldn't that be something? Unannounced, unexpected. In 1717, this is a very important day, the premier Grand Lodge of England, the first Masonic Grand Lodge in the world, now the United Grand Lodge of England, is founded in London. 1717. 624. What else do we have? The American Revolutionary War. It is the Great Siege of Gibraltar. We have the first Republican Constitution. That was adopted in France, 1793. The Napoleonic Wars start 1812. The Grand Army crosses the Niemen River, and Napoleon begins his invasion of Russia. That didn't go so well. Let's see, what else do we have here? 1880, the first performance of O Canada, the song that would become the national anthem. That might be the third most popular national anthem in the world. O Canada. Today it's your birthday. Canadians, sing your national anthem proudly today. All right, what else do we have? Let's see. The American Professional Football Association is renamed the National Football League. About that, today's the birthday of the National Football League. Happy birthday. God, that thing has become massive. A Godzilla of sports. Let's see, what else do we have? Back in 1838, pieces of a meteorite estimated to have weighed 450 metric tons when it hit the Earth's atmosphere and exploded. Land near Chicora, Pennsylvania. Some of you Pennsylvanians might know about. Speaking of Pennsylvania, you know the Amish are the largest growing community of so-called white people. The Amish women have 7 children per family, and now they're starting communities in South America. How about that? The Amish, go Amish. Let's see, apartheid is passed in 1950. What else do we have here? Obscenity, not protected by the First Amendment. That is Roth versus the U.S. I think that's Philip Roth, right? Portnoy's Complaint, one of the first smutty novels that garnered the attention of the ACLU. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, anything else interesting? I think that's about it. Julia Gillard assumes the office of the first female Prime Minister of Australia. Lonesome George. Oh, this is sad. The last known individual of Chilenidus nigra abingdoni, a subspecies of the Galapagos tortoise, dies. Poor George. You're the final one. The last tortoise. The last Chilenidus nigra abingdoni. Poor, he was lonesome. He was the last guy left. Poor Lonesome George. Hey, you know who today's birthday is? Today is Jeff Beck's birthday. Happy birthday, Jeff Beck. And Mick Fleetwood. I wonder if they ever played together. Arthur Brown. Crazy Arthur Brown. We know who he is. A lot of musicians today. Patrick Moraz, the keyboard player of Yes, amongst other bands. Little tiny Robert Reich. Today is his birthday. Of course, he's a Cancer. Let's see, anybody else today that's interesting, birthday-wise? I think it's about it. That's about it. Anybody in the 60s? Interesting. Nope. I think that's it. Okay, here, let me show you guys some stuff. So, Pete Buttigieg got into some hot water the other night. Let me show you this. This is a. So, there was an event that happened in South Bend. And I'm going to read this to you. So this is from today. The author is Kate Riga. I think last night this happened. There was a town hall meeting. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg held a contentious town hall meeting Sunday as he struggled to deal with the outcry after a black man was shot by white police officers. According to Politico, Buttigieg conceded that the effort to recruit more minority officers to the police department and the effort to introduce body cameras have not succeeded, and I accept responsibility for that. This is the new thing now, right? This is the new thing. Falling on the sword. I'm responsible. I saw this with Bob Myers when he basically said that Kevin Durant's injury was his fault. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. The guy chose to play. You sat down with him. You went over the pros and the cons, what could happen, what might happen, and you sat down with his agent, who's a high-powered agent. He's a grown man. Sat down with the team doctors, and they said, you're going to play. And Myers says, if you want to blame somebody, it's not. This is the new thing. I apologize. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I have plenty of white guilt to go around. Sergeant Ryan O'Neill, good old Irish name, fatally shot Eric Logan after a call came in about someone rifling through the contents of parked cars. Prosecutors say Logan was wielding a knife, but confirmation is difficult since O'Neill never turned on his body camera, according to NBC. The town hall reportedly stretched for 2 hours, with Buttigieg occasionally getting frustrated as those in the crowd shouted over his answers or yelled accusations. One audience member cried that Buttigieg was lying, and another yelled, "We don't trust you." This isn't the first time Buttigieg has struggled to navigate the racial dynamics of law enforcement in his hometown. At the beginning of his term, he demoted the city's first black police chief, Darrell Boykins, for not disclosing that he was the subject of an FBI investigation. For tapping the phones of senior officers he claimed were making racist comments about him. Boykins later sued, saying the taping issue was used as a pretext for firing based on racism. Welcome. Pete Buttigieg. Look at that face. He does look like Alfred E. Neuman. Welcome, Pete Buttigieg, to the battle that cannot be won. Can't be won. And all you're going to do is just going to find yourself on the other side of that dynamic, because you're going to be a piñata. You're going to be a piñata. That's what you're going to be. You're going to be a piñata. Why? Because this whole issue of so-called race has been turned on its ear, and we can thank our 44th president, Barack Hussein Obama, for absolutely promoting more division, more strife, more hate, more distrust, more mistrust than any other president. I'm not saying there's a problem. There are problems. There are definitely problems. Definitely problems. There are issues, but they're deep, man. They're deep issues. They're really deep issues. And you're not going to solve the fucking issues by having a 2-hour Band-Aid and trying to address people and, stem the tide and make sure that the people in your own city actually like you and the story sells at a higher level so you can get elected president. That's not going to happen in 2 hours. But I guess as mayor, you have to do it. Right? That's not a job I'd want unless it was a really cool little town. If it was a cool little town, mayor could be fun. How's it going, Mayor? Oh, it's just fine. How are you today? Oh, it's just great. Love the job you're doing. Ah, thank you. Streets are clean. I know the streets are clean, aren't they? We pride ourselves in having clean streets. It's got to be difficult with these gigs in modern America. I know it's difficult. I go to the city council meetings here in town. It's not easy managing a city in a time where technology is encroaching and people want to hold on to an older way of being. You've got tourism, massive amounts of special interest. I mean, it's just got to be, you got the Agenda 2030 thing coming in. I don't know. Maybe I'd have to be a mayor of a town of maybe about 50 people. That'd be good. That'd be cool. But I would only serve one term. And then somebody else could be mayor. Right? We could all be mayor. So Pete Buttigieg having a bit of a difficult time. Now. It'll be interesting to see how his campaign responds to what's taking place. See how really good of a politician this man is. Because if he can't handle a hornet's nest in South Bend, how's he going to deal with the Chinese? How's he going to deal with the Russians? How's he going to deal with the Saudis? How's he going to deal with the fifth column groups who may or may not want to take him down, right? How's he going to deal with them? How's he going to deal with Israel? Well, he'll just get on a plane and go to the Pride Parade in Geneva with his husband. That's how he'll deal with it. A little stopover at the Wailing Wall. You ever watch those guys at the Wailing Wall? They all go like this, right? So it's like, is there like a rave going on in the background? Is that what's happening? Got a new book for you. Your Book of the Month Club. If you guys are looking for some easy summer reading while you're at the beach, chilling out, catching a few rays, the last rays of the 20th century. I know it's the 21st, but it feels like things are going to change. If you want to have a little light reading, I got just the book for you. Here it is. The Michelle Obama Unofficial White House Guide to Rights and Privilege of Transgender Persons. Anybody find that to be just a little, perhaps, telling? There it is. You can get this through Walmart, and if you have any doubts or any gray area or any blank spaces in your mind about the rights of transgender people, here's your book. It's right there. And it's the unofficial White House Guide. I don't think the official White House Guide has come out yet. I think Michelle beat them to the punch. So, very interesting book on many levels. Many levels. Are we talking about a little hidden in plain sight? Maybe a little predictive programming? Maybe? I still think she's going to run for office. I think she might wind up on a VP ticket with somebody. That's what I think. But hey, I thought really she might come in last time against Trump. That's what Roger Stone said too. Roger Stone and I were having the same thoughts. That's kind of scary, isn't it? All right, let me check in with you guys in chat room. See what's going on there. Let's see, Mayor Phoenix, the Burgermeister. There's a raving loon in the background. My poor dog in the picture, he would know. Michael's an expert on being transgender. There's a lot of insider information going on there in that book. That's what I think. That is what I think. A lot of insider information. Yeah. Um, so there you go. Let's look at Pete Buttigieg again. I want to see this picture again. Just look at this picture. This guy's going to be president of the United States. I mean, he's a really bright guy. He speaks, what, 3 languages, 4 languages, plays classical piano. I mean, the guy with a skill set is pretty impressive. He's one of the first and only people I've heard use the word anodyne while trying to discuss policy. The guy is not, he's not dumb. He's actually a really intelligent dude. But, I don't know, that does not grab me as a presidential face. What is being a presidential face anyway? It just doesn't fit the profile. All right, I think I'm going to get out of here. Just a little quick hit and run on this Monday, the 24th of June. Oh, just to give you a little housekeeping here, I'm getting ready to put the T-shirt order in. I hit the minimum order, so everybody that's ordered a T-shirt, that work's going to start this week, and my event, Harvest Moon Hill Country, that will premiere. The page will premiere probably tomorrow. I just have to settle up a few things with the contract, and you'll be able to sign up. You'll be able to sign up this week, and that's going to be, the date's going to be the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th of October. That culminates on the Harvest Moon that weekend. Should be a great weekend. Run up to that Harvest Moon. Be a lot of high energy, wonderful time, and kind of a way for us to celebrate kind of this year together, right? It'll be fun. It'll be a good time, and I love that culmination of the harvest time, the harvest season. Okay, use your head in order to discern what's real. Your heart to stay open what's possible. Let's stay open to what's possible. Let's do it. I'm Robert Phoenix. From me and Jasper on the other side of the screen. Have yourself a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Take good care.